Hello.
Hey Patrick, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I am well, thank you so much. Yeah, glad that we're able to connect today.
I know I was excited. I just got off of work like an hour ago, so it worked out
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah. That's great. That's great. Yeah, no, I wanted to make sure that we connected even before your assignment to due date, which I think you mentioned was the 29th, I believe, or
Yes.
the 30th, possibly.
Yeah, the 29th.
Yeah. So let's dive into it. What is it, like values? I believe.
Yes. Let me go ahead and I think it'll be easier if I share my screen. Let me see. That way we're
Sure,
looking at the same thing. Let me
sure.
see. Share. Then. Okay, perfect. So let me see. Let me start from the top. So this is a values worksheet. So the first thing that it asks is just to, I guess, to list like how important my values are, like what kind of values.
Yep.
So these are the ones I listed here. So the first one is family.
Yes.
For that one, I just put I had put family because for me, I feel like growing up, they've always kind of instilled in me to like look after the little ones and kind of make sure no one gets left behind.
Right.
So I think
Right.
that's one of my main ones. Second one would be like financial stability.
Right.
For me, kind of just it's very important for me to to give back to my parents, to give back to my family, to help them continue to raise the little ones.
Right.
Third one for me is honesty. I feel like this is like important for like my professional and even like personal aspects in life. I feel like if there isn't honesty, I don't think there's like a solid foundation. So put that one for the third one. For fourth, I put work life balance. So it's just something that like I feel is very important for me if I were to work within a company.
Right.
Respect, having mutual respect. In my professional setting and as well as in in my home. Pretty good at that. So I put that down too. Teamwork. So this one I was kind of referring more to like in my professional setting. I feel like that's something very important.
Right.
Um, and then seventh is leadership. So that one I put I guess relating to both professional and personal. Um,
Right. No, absolutely. And actually leadership can definitely be two-pronged, if you will. Because the leadership, not only are you are exhibiting the leadership at home as being even the oldest, if you will,
yeah.
but even at work as well, professionally, just in terms of your role, or even in school also. You take a leadership stance for yourself in your classes every day, so
Yep, I agree. And then for eight, it's communication. So that one I was referring to. I was actually referring to both. I think having open communication, I think it's also like very important because I am 21, so living at home is like you don't want to like have how do you say like miscommunication with your parents. You still want to respect their rules, you still want to make sure that you keep them in the loop with your life. So for
right.
me, personally, like I have very open communication with my parents. And then professionally, I also think it's very important to be on the same page with your fellow peers. So I put for that one. Ninth, growth. That
Yeah.
one, I think I was referring more to like a mental growth.
Yeah.
Um, I wasn't really like, I guess it could go both ways also for professional, but I was looking at it more like a personal growth. So it's a value that, I hope to like uphold in the future, like, have that growth to look back. Creativity. That one I would say is more like for the professional setting, just learning to be more creative. I think sometimes like I could be very limited, so I think that's a value that like I really want to uphold as well.
Yeah.
And then so the next section asks to list your five values. Out of all those, to list five, and those were the five that I listed.
in terms of your how you rank them, correct?
Yes, in
So
terms of the list.
those 10, these are your top five, and being ranked as well: family first, financial stability, respectfulness, the work life balance, and then the leadership.
Yep.
Okay,
And then
okay,
finally, ready definition. So basically, I'll go ahead and read it, but I feel like I explained it. It says
yeah,
family, so
yeah,
I put that one, prioritizing time and support for loved ones, ensuring their well being. Financial stability, achieving a secure and sustainable, financial position in life to be able to give back. Respect, treating others with fairness and consideration and valuing their input as well. Work life balance, maintaining harmony between, my career, my personal life, being able to juggle both. And last one is leadership, guiding and inspiring others, toward their shared goals.
yeah, yeah.
And then, okay, this one, provide your worksheet to your mentor. Okay, yes, discuss the following questions. So it says, do you and your mentor share common values? Do you define the same way?
um, yeah, there are some of them that where that we do have in common, and some of these I could see how where you are in your on your journey, why you've identified certain ones, the way that they are. But I
Yeah.
think many of those even resonate with me as well, because for me, if you go back up to your list, um, here your family, for me, that's also really important as well.
Yeah.
If something doesn't jive at work, that compromises I guess time with my family, I will leave work, because family, like with you, is the most important for me. Like my wife, my children, and just making sure that I have time with them and for them as well. Financial stability, that too. Um, of course, in my phase of life, I'm very close to, I guess, I probably like about 10 years or 15 years removed from retirement. But financially speaking, I think we're okay. My wife and I, financially, we're fine. Our kids are fine. Our financial situation is fine. But like you, also we want to ensure that we have a good foundation with respect to our economic or financial footing, as well. That's really important. I know many of us, we don't want to live to work. We work to live,
Yeah.
right? But at the same time, we want to make sure that we make sound decisions financially, and early on that's really important, because we want to set ourselves up, where early on we want to set ourselves up early on where we're not struggling later on in life, because early on, um, even though we may not be earning, six figures, or a very strong salary, where the hope is, or the expectation is, because we're early in our careers, that it will grow. It will grow,
Yeah.
as we go through our phases in our careers, in life as well. Right now, if in your situation, you're early in your career, but the expectation is that you'll continue to grow and develop your skill sets, your skills, knowledge, and abilities, your experience, your leadership, all of these traits that are necessary in order for you to continue to progress favorably, financially as well. So financial stability, like you, that's also really important for us. Families really important for us. A work life balance also, for me, that resonates a lot. Also, that's really important to me, because I want to make sure that I'm not working 10, 12, 15 hour shift, especially because I do work remotely, more often than not. I may get on the computer from 8 o'clock in the morning, on the laptop, 7 or 8 in the morning, and then I may sometimes log out at 8, 9, or 10 p.m. at night. And that's not healthy. There
Yeah.
needs to be a balance where maybe you start at 9 and maybe you leave at 5, and then that's really it. Or even on the weekends also. That's not something that I want to be. That's not something where I want to have a career where I'm always on. You know, I want to make sure that even though my kids are older, I still want to spend time with whoever's still at home. You know, like with my
Mm-hmm.
wife today, for example, we went hiking. You know, we hiked 5 miles with our Griffith Park. You
Oh
know,
wow, that's
it's great. Also, so yeah, the work life balance is also really important. So those three for sure resonate really strongly with me. The honesty for me, that's also important. Um, but for honesty, I more so um, I refer to it as integrity.
okay.
You know, so honesty and integrity. So with people with integrity, like people with a strong work ethic, have outstanding integrity. You know, they hold themselves to the highest moral principle and are honest in that sense. You know, are honest, they're fair, and they're polite to others. You know, so for me, honestly, I love that you have honesty up there, but I prefer, for me, I package it more so I refer to it as integrity.
Integrity. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So yeah, well, we have many that are common, and also I know I saw yours respect. For me, also that's something that I value as well, being respectful and professional in everything that we do
Yep.
with everyone who we come in contact with. Everyone deserves the same respect and professionalism. It doesn't matter what level that they're in. Really, really important. That's the culture that I want to have in you know, that's the culture I want to create in my department with my team, and that's the part of culture that I want to be a part of in an organization as well, where everyone is treated respectfully and professionally. You know, so that way I could do my job successfully.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but I'm juggling two jobs. I'm doing Target and I'm doing McDonald's.
Nice,
Yeah, so
nice.
it's good, having a little bit extra. Obviously, it kills you a little bit more, but to see your paychecks come in, it definitely motivates you. But I have seen a difference, like within the two companies.
Yeah.
McDonald's just like, I feel like, well, I can't speak for all McDonald's, but for at least the one I'm in, the managers lack that respect part, like that.
No, yeah,
It's
absolutely.
just
So
it is so
pay
mind
attention
boggling
to
to
that.
me to see that.
Yeah, pay attention to that. In not only, well, yeah, pay attention to that at McDonald's and at Target, specifically with your new leaders as well, or even not even the new leaders, but even just with leadership in of itself, because they're the ones who set the tone. You know, and many of these leaders, unfortunately, don't know any better because they weren't taught, the importance of being respectful and professional at work, where they continue to allow certain behaviors to happen at work. And by certain behaviors, I mean like a lot of the banter or a lot of the joking
Yeah.
that isn't respectful and that isn't professional to to either to a gender, to an age demographic, to an age, to a race, and it's sexual undertones and so forth. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of banter that goes on, or and that's not respectful. So these leaders need to be able to set that tone, need to be able to set the example, and also to call it out as well. How often have you heard or have you seen, where you have a lot of kidding around going on, or maybe guys trying to pick up on girls, or saying things that are
Inappropriate.
completely inappropriate,
Yeah.
at work, but nothing gets done because nothing gets escalated, or nothing. Yeah, yeah. Or maybe the leaders don't communicate to the team members, hey, that this is not okay. If it does happen, let me know. You know.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny you mentioned that because I actually, I don't have too long at that McDonald's I have worked for previously. I left it and I went back recently. It's been like about maybe 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
obviously it's under new management and stuff. I had to have a conversation with one of the team leads. I had to tell her like, I don't know you, you don't know me. I think it's very important that like we keep the respect. Like, I mean, I don't, it's just like the attitude, the remarks, like, you have a
Hmm.
sincere
Hmm.
question and it's like if you ask like the dumbest question in the world, it's like I mean, I'm trying to learn. You guys have like a different process now than what I remember, you know. And I had to have that conversation where I had to pull her to the side and I had to say, you know what, I would appreciate it if we could keep that respect, like professionally, like you know.
Yeah.
It was just it's something that I'm learning for sure. And then seeing how like different it is to like the other company Target and how they
Hmm.
handle certain situations, it's like wow, you could really see the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Like here, I remember earlier on in my career, I'm a very touchy feely type of person. I'll pat people like on their shoulder in that sense. And there was a coordinator. I was a senior manager at that time, and there was a coordinator, and I mentioned something to her, and I patted her on her shoulder. There wasn't any type of undertone, or there wasn't any malice, or any with no intent, just like a pat, like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
like, so it was something positive, but I just ended up patting her on her shoulder. But I did not know at that time that that she did not like being touched, period. And also, from my standpoint, like, yeah, I shouldn't touch anybody also.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should touch anybody, period. And she ended up telling one of my colleagues, and the colleague ended up telling me, and I felt so bad, as well. But not only did I feel bad that she felt that, I guess, like, her space was violated, but also that she couldn't tell me directly as well.
Yeah.
Because that here's the trust component also, that I'm just trying to make sure that I create an environment of trust also. And if there's anything that I'm not doing correctly, I want my team to call me on it too. But I have never forgotten that. Yeah, and I apologized to her. She was cool about it, and told her, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that will never happen again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's something also that a lot of individuals who are early in their careers, that are your age, 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, they don't know any better. Also, they don't know how to navigate work politics or the work culture, and they're so excited to get their new job, that they allow anything that shouldn't happen. They more often than not will dismiss it and will accept it because of fear, possibly, that they'll get in trouble, or they did something wrong. They won't speak up. And we need to be their voice for them, and we need to educate them also, as well, so that way they know that, hey, if something feels off, something feels wrong, you see something or you experience something, call it out. If you don't feel comfortable talking to that individual, come to me, come to your manager, go to HR. you know
Yeah.
because that's not okay. And we want people to be, again, respectful and professional, when they come to work. We shouldn't have to worry about anybody else. Oh,
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think that's very important as well.
yeah. Yeah.
So
So good stuff. Good stuff here.
yeah, no, definitely. It's just and it's awesome to talk about it because it's like you don't. I mean, I mention it to my parents, but they don't really get it. They're just it's kind of like, oh, okay, awesome, like, oh, okay, well, that's too bad, So it's cool to talk about it and kind of just build on it and
Hmm.
get like
Hmm.
like a perspective on it as well. So
Yeah,
yes,
and sometimes, like with our parents, for example, since they're older, and sometimes it's part of the culture that they've accepted it to be. So for them, that's normal, and they don't know any better because that's all they've ever known.
yeah,
So when you start talking to them about, what's okay and what's not okay, for them it may not they may not understand, because for them it was normal.
yeah. It's funny you say that because my mother, she actually mentioned that she's like, oh, maybe you're being a little bit too sensitive.
Yeah, no, no,
And
no.
I was like,
Exactly.
no, I don't think it's that. I think it's that,
No, and
they don't
that's
have no,
exactly,
they don't
yeah,
have
that's
no
exactly what I mean.
boundaries.
Don't make excuses for the behavior, or they're just being guys, or they're just being girls, or if females are dressed a certain way, well, they brought it upon themselves because of the way they're dressed. Like, no, that's not.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe their dress is inappropriate, but that doesn't give um,
Anybody else
another
permission.
individual the right to treat them a certain way, or to talk to them a certain way, or to look at them a certain way.
Yep.
You yeah, the dress, it may be inappropriate, but that's a separate component, because the behavior now is from other people in terms of what they do, what they have control over, what they say also. So no, that's not okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question, it says, are there values that are specifically good for young professionals?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's what we were just talking about as well, being respectful
Yeah.
and professional. Another good value is integrity and having a strong work ethic, being dependable, having a positive can-do attitude, as well. That is your attitude goes a long way as well, where you have somebody who's showing initiative as well, or somebody who's asking questions. Um, I think those are really good values, or strong values, for them to embrace. Being dependable, also being
Yeah.
adaptable. y- You know,
Yeah, I think those are
yeah,
big ones for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody who's motivated to grow and to learn, also. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then I wrote down some two questions here. The first one, I know we kind of touched on it. It says, how do you maintain balance between your leadership responsibilities and personal life, especially when things are getting hectic?
Yeah, that one. I try to manage expectations really, in terms of what I can and can't do in the moment, because I have a lot of competing actions in my role, and even still, for my team, if they are also swamped with anything, like I tell them, hey, if you can't do it, like ask for help, and and same thing here. I'll have team members, who are like my colleagues, my peers, who will ask me, hey, are you doing okay, Lewis? I'm like, actually, like, I'm completely slammed. However, can you help me with this also? This is something that's on in my queue to tackle, but like I'm slammed with XYZ still, and it's in my radar, but I can't get to it right now, but it's also urgent as well. But so managing expectations, as well, is really important. And also, I need to make sure that I take time for myself, in the sense that maybe in the morning and in the evenings, or maybe even during lunch as well, like take a break and go for a walk. y- you know
Yeah.
so that helps me to kind of like reset, if you will, kind of like, clear my mind also, because it's exhausting just looking at a screen all day long as well,
Yeah.
or talking to people like constantly all throughout the day. So sometimes I'll just, I'll check out, as well, for like about 10 to 15 minutes, like early, like, throughout the day, like in the morning, midday if I can, or in the afternoon, as well, because it's very easy for me to just start the day and keep going until the end of the day. You know.
Yeah.
So
Do you prefer the whole online thing? Does the whole do you prefer being online? Or, obviously, it's more convenient, right? Because it's from your home. But are you like the type of person that likes to be like physical, like in person, or online works like perfectly for
well,
you?
no, I think there's value to both of them, quite honestly, Patrick. I think there's a lot of value being physically present, because it allows you to see the person, physically. You're building those connections. You're able to, not to say that you can't do it, through a chat. We could see each other, but it's different when it's in person.
Yeah.
It's always, the relationships are just, um, um, they are developed differently when it's in person. And also when you're there physically, I think you also get a sense when you're done for the day. For example, let's say, I'll just say, use like 5 or 6 o'clock, arbitrarily, and you're in the office until 5 or 6. You're For the most part, you're like, when you leave, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything stays behind. When you have that type of culture, when you have a culture where you're able to be remote more often than not, the lines get blurred in terms of when you start and stop, or they can be blurred. It also depends as to the type of organization that you're working for as well, of course. You know, if you have like a 24/7 operation where things could happen at any point in time, you know, like early in the morning, later in the evening, and also even more so like on the weekends, it can be a little bit blurry in that sense in terms of how when you need to respond by, you know, and feeling that you could truly disconnect, you know. So with that, that's really where you have to maintain that balance in terms of like, well, you got to make sure to shut down,
Yeah,
if you
when you
will,
disconnect, you
or
disconnect.
disconnect or turn your phone over.
Yeah.
You know, you know, if you don't want to fully disconnect, that's fine. Maybe turn the phone, look at your phone, maybe like the following morning or whatever. If just to see, depending as to what your role is. But yeah, try to disconnect. But this is even more important as well, Patrick, for hourly employees too, because hourly, and also this is really really important. Hourly employees a lot of times can get taken advantage of, with respect to not not clocking all of the hours in which they work. You know,
Yeah.
that's owed to them. They may end up working a little bit more for whatever, and for whatever reason they don't record that time, especially if they're working remotely and they have to clock somewhere. And or you know, it's really important that they know that for any time that they work, that they should be paid for it. And also the same thing for like for lunch, clock out for lunch, don't do any work as well. You know, if somebody says that, if they do something that's work related, they have to reset the timer to their lunch. You know, they don't know this stuff,
Yeah.
and these are some of the laws that are in place to protect them, but they don't know any better. You know, or also taking their breaks as well. You know, at the beginning of their shift, close, you know, between like the when they start and lunch, and also in the afternoon. You know, like their 10-minute break or 15, whatever it is that the company allows them to take. They should take, and they should also know that it's paid for as well. You know, and they should be reminded, hey, take your break. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I digress. Going back to the question, yeah, it's really about managing expectations and knowing what your limits are, and just um, I
Relying on
mean,
those connections as well, like in your work setting as well, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Learning to communicate.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the second question. I'm gonna kind of butcher because I'm reading it now and I feel like it kind of doesn't really work. Uh, yeah.
So, what advice would you give on building financial stability while
While staying
staying
true to
true
your
to values,
values.
respect, and teamwork in a leadership role? Yeah, that one's interesting. So with that one, well, so let's just go ahead and focus on the financial stability component. So here, everyone's financial situation is different, you know, in this sense. So here, and I think this goes to what I said earlier, because I remember like when I started my early on in my career. You know, I had just graduated, and both my wife and I, we were early in our careers, and we were about to get married, and we were looking to buy a house. And one of the big decisions that we ended up doing was we bought the house. But there were a lot of homes that were out of our price range at that time, and we finally found one where that we felt that we could sort of afford, but was still kind of more than what we wanted to spend. You know, and well, before we put in our bid, you know, we spoke about it, and we both understood that we were both early in our careers. And this goes to financial stability also, because at that time it was just us. We didn't have any kids. We
Mhm.
weren't married. We weren't even married yet at that time, but we were engaged, but we were about to get married. So we're like, I don't expect to be making, X amount of dollars, forever. I expect that my compensation is going to keep growing and that my title's going to keep growing. And I know we don't have any debt. That's also very important to know as well. Like, make sure that you don't have any debt.
Yeah.
Pay off all of your bills. Don't spend what you don't have. I mean, we both had that same mindset, that value as well. So we decided to buy the house. We bought the house. Um, and I think even shortly thereafter, my wife ended up quitting her job. Maybe about a few months after we bought the house, she ended up quitting her job, but she had some money saved away. So, and she found another job really quickly thereafter. But here, I guess what I'm trying to get at is, it's really about being financially responsible as well, like financial stability.
Yeah.
With that, it also means that you should be financially responsible in terms of not spending what you don't have. Not spending what you don't have, paying off your debt, making sure that you're not in debt as well, and also that you're able to save for your future. So that for me is what financial stability is. So we were early in our careers. We bought our house. Um, we were not in debt. We had our mortgage, and we started putting money aside also for when we had kids, for their college, and also we started contributing into our 401k as well as early as we could. So that for us was able to help us later on as well, because now, like I said, my oldest, he just graduated from Cal Poly, and he has, his school was paid for. He has no debt. For my daughter, who's at UC Irvine, she's there as a junior this year, and then next year she's done. All of her college, we put money aside for her. It's paid for already.
Yeah.
Everything, it's all paid for. We're not worrying about any of that. And then for our youngest, for Ryan, we have money aside for him. But even still, when he's about to be in college, our house will be paid off by that time also. So even still, because of all of these, the financial decisions that we made earlier on,
It set you guys
that's
up.
it has positioned us to be in a very good place now. So financial responsibility is really important to ensuring that you're building your financial stability.
Yep, I like that. It's definitely something that I'm trying to work on. Unfortunately, I got like a little too crazy with the credit cards once I turned 18, and
Yeah,
I'm still
yeah,
working to pay those off. But
yeah.
but
And here's another thing also, Patrick, like with all my kids, my youngest hasn't experienced this, but with my two oldest ones, we got them credit cards at the age of 16. Like we got them credit cards at the age of 18. Both of them were able to secure their own credit cards, also their own personal credit cards, and of course their limits were increased as well. So they were no longer tied to my credit card also. So they're also just teaching them that financial responsibility, kind of like what you just said as well.
yeah,
Just showing them the importance of that. Also, I do understand that you're trying to be a responsible child as well. You want to help out at home also, but keep in mind too, you have to care for yourself also,
yeah.
Patrick. It's great that you want to help your mom, you want to help them too, but also remember that you also have to take care of you.
There's this
All
there's a saying in Spanish. I'm gonna butcher it and I'm gonna say it in English,
yeah.
but it basically says like if you're drowning, you can't expect to save another drowning person.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, exactly. Like, and I know about our culture where we have to take care of our family and so forth, but at the same time, they are the parent. They had a responsibility to us to care for us.
Yeah,
And I love the fact that as the children, we want to help them out, but at the same time, they're still the parent. They should still be taking care of us, and it's not the other way around.
yeah.
And I know you may disagree with that, but
No, no, no.
But
I completely agree. I do
and
see
no,
it from that
and I say
perspective
this
as
also
well.
because, and I say this also because if you expect to also have a family, to start a family, you gotta have a good foundation for yourself, Patrick. And that foundation will never be strong enough, or will never, or won't get strong, won't get strong. They won't get strong sooner than you want it to. It'll get stronger later, possibly, but it won't get strong sooner when you need it to because you're still helping out, you know, around the house
Yeah,
with your parents too, trying to help them. You're kind of like enabling them to a certain degree, or helping them
yeah.
also. You know,
No, I do agree. And if I'm being very transparent, I think that's gonna be like one of those life lessons that's definitely gonna like I'm gonna have to learn.
uh-huh.
Just learning to like be able to like kind of let go a little bit and just
Yeah,
do what I gotta do, you
it's
know.
hard.
So
Oh,
that
it's hard.
it
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 really is
really is
hard.
hard. So I'm kind of in that boat as well. I know that I'm not Superman. I can't do miracles, you know, but I guess my goal is just to do as much as I can as a son, as a brother, and
Yeah,
so
but remember, you're it's not your responsibility to be your sibling's parent.
yeah,
You are not their father. You know, you are also a child. You're also a brother. You know, you are the son.
yeah,
You know, don't take on this responsibility, this burden. Also, um, you know, and it's great if you want to go ahead and do it. That's fantastic. I don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong with that. But you also owe it to yourself to care for yourself and position yourself to you know to be financially secure.
yeah. I completely respect that. I do agree with it.
You know,
I'm not.
so
Yeah.
and it's tough. It's tough. You know, undoubtedly it is tough.
No, yeah, it
Yeah,
really is. Especially like I feel like it's so like in the culture, like in that Mexican culture to
yeah,
like, and it's hard because you know that unfortunately just because it's part of the culture doesn't make it right. So
yeah.
it's just
Correct,
it's
correct.
so it's a lot of learning, a lot of like undoing that you have to you have to do. Um, but yeah, it's just that's Mexican culture for you.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's fine. And that's fine, you know. But yeah, just try to have that balance,
Yeah.
you know. You should come first, you know. And if
Yeah.
you have, yeah, you come first, put money away, and if you have any extra, if you're able to help, yeah, go ahead and help,
My,
you know.
it's funny because my girlfriend is like she's a complete opposite. She comes from like, she has three siblings.
Uh-huh.
She's not scared. She left the nest and she went to go, dorm, and she's like the complete opposite of me. And she teaches me that. She teaches me, hey babe, relax. Like, you can only do your part. Your parents have to do that. Like you do this. Like, and she does open my eyes when it comes to that, and it's kind of like she kind of like balances me out.
Yeah,
So I mean it's really neat to have also.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So this one is, let me see, this one's the smart goals.
Okay,
Spend at least 2 weeks specific. What is it? It's been like about a week and a half since I did these, so I'm just gonna
okay,
reread. What is specific task? Dedicate more quality. Okay, so what is a specific task? So we did goals. So the goal right here is spend at least 2 weekends per month on
okay.
family activities to improve work life balance. I
Yep,
do
yep.
I know I do come off like as a very family orientated, but if I'm being very honest, it's very hard for me to like spend time with the little ones,
Yeah,
especially I'm working full time, I'm going to school full time,
yeah.
trying to make time for the girlfriend, trying to make time for the friends. So it's just that was one of my goals to spend. And when I said family, I meant like the little ones, like the 5-year old, 6-year old, even the 12, 13-year olds. So that was one of the goals right there. Dedicate more quality time to my family by spending at least 2 weekends per month doing
So
activities together.
here before you go on, here instead of making at least 2 weekends per month, why not making it a little bit more specific? By instead of being 2 weekends, why not make it at least 4 hours or 2 hours or 3 hours. So that way you're being that much more granular
Okay.
because 2 weekends, maybe that's still, maybe it's too broad for you as well. But if you make it more specific, maybe two, let's just say 2 hours. Does that sound more achievable to you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it does, and it puts it in your head, like, okay, you have to do 2 hours, by the end of the month. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely. Let
Yeah.
me
Even if it's just, even if you were just put 1 hour, that will help you with this goal that much more so because now it's more defined. Because 2 weekends, what does that mean? 2 weekends? Are you like two? If you're saying 2 weekends, one weekend is 2 days, 48 hours. So that's 96 hours.
Yeah.
And what happens if you don't do it? Like your 2 weekends, like because you only have 4 weekends. So let's say 3 weekends go by, and for whatever reason you weren't able to do it. You already didn't achieve that goal.
No, you're completely right. I think I put 2 weekends thinking it's such a little bit of time, but in reality, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is a
And then
lot.
to honor that goal. So I'll
Yeah,
definitely update it to two. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, yeah, or 4 hours because time is so precious for you right now because you're being stretched in many different directions. So if you put an hour time to it, maybe that may help you with it. Because then if you put 1 hour, let's just say 2 hours, um, you could do it in the morning, first thing in the morning. A lot of times, you probably have more time in the morning to tackle it, or maybe on the back end in the evening or something like that.
Okay.
So anyhow, just a thought.
No, I like that. I do because the point of this activity is to kind of to stay true to these goals,
Yeah,
and I don't want to set myself up for failure either. So I like that. Okay.
yeah,
And then here it says relevant. I just put it aligns with my values of prioritizing family and maintaining a balanced life. Spending quality time with my family is important to me since it is the foundation of my own stability and happiness.
nice.
To keep it short. So yeah. And
Yep.
then time bound. So I put now, so I would start now.
Yeah,
If I'm being honest, I haven't done it yet, but
that's okay. No, but I think by you adding hours, well, it's making you look at this differently now.
yeah. No, I agree.
Completely different now.
And then
Because now it doesn't seem as challenging, if you will. Because when I see 2 weekends, like, oh dang, how is he going to pull that off? You know,
yeah, no, I agree. I don't even know why I thought. I mean, I guess just kind of doing the assignment, but now that I'm looking back at it, it's like, okay, wait, 2 weekends is a lot.
it's a lot. Yeah,
And then let me see. So challenging, I just put balancing work, studies, and and family requires dedication, but it will lead to a healthier work life balance.
yeah, and also right now, if you're not if you could confidently say that in the past month you haven't spent any time already just doing 1 hour or even 2